What up? In today's video, we will be taking a look at some figures that I've been sitting on for actually a couple of years. I have not opened them, and I just have to get around to it to get into some other videos that I want to make. So let's get past this. Let's get into it. And this will be my Dark Knight Returns figure collection. Of course, Dark Knight Returns is the graphic novel from Frank Miller. This is my original graphic novel I've had since I was a little kid. So it's pretty beat up. But it completely took the Dark Knight and took him to a whole new level. Awesome graphic novel. I also have part 2. And there now is a part 3 that I need to pick up to add to the collection. Now, they also released the DC animated movie, The Dark Knight Returns. This is the deluxe edition that has both parts on one disc. I did also pick up just randomly at a pawn shop with a DVD release that came with some pretty cool little cards. And if you have not seen this animated movie, check it out. It's pretty awesome. Pretty faithful to the material, the source material. Great DC animated movie that shows the Dark Knight. Once he's retired, he's called back into service and the world's in chaos. And he has to take on everybody from the Gotham Police Department to Superman, who's controlled by the government, to even the regular citizens in the end. So it's pretty cool. Check this out if you haven't seen it. Now, these figures are based on this story. Actually, up there on my shelf, I already have some of the figures up that I've had open, you know. This being the blue suited Batman that the story starts off with, and Carrie Kelly, the first girl Robin. Then you also get into the armored Batmans. You have the helmeted one, and then there is a way you could make a custom unhelmeted Bruce Wayne in the armor, which is pretty cool. You also have the Joker. And in this story, he kind of starts like as a catatonic. So the first head that you get is like just a regular, emotionless face. And then you get him with a batarang in his eye that comes out later on in the story in the graphic novel. But I did make a custom where I sculpted in the eye. So you can't really tell that it's not supposed to have the eye, but I made him have both his eyes and his gun. So you could actually see him in his complete insane glory. Pretty cool. So I ended up having actually 3 Jokers in there. You also have the Atom from Dark Knight Returns Part 2, which is actually the second graphic novel. And you have the Flash from that same book, which is a different costume, the black and yellow colors and the big tennis shoes. It's pretty crazy. And then you also have, cannot forget, the mutant leader from the first book, which is he's a pretty badass foe for Batman. He actually defeats Batman the first time, but then Batman comes back to seek his revenge on him, which is pretty sick in that mud hole scene. It's pretty awesome. I've actually had these figures boxed and I haven't opened them to put them up there on the shelf. And there is also an awesome Build-A-Figure that comes in there. Probably the greatest Build-A-Figure ever conceived by the creative geniuses at Mattel. So first up, I will be opening the black and gray version of Batman, which is later on in the story. but he has pretty much the same body type as the first, the blue and gray one. The differences are the emblem on his chest. He's pretty stocky because later on in the years, as you know, once you pass 40 years, you start getting that much muscle maturity. And a lot of people say he's fat, but if you know anything, you know that once you pass 40 years, you start packing on muscle, usually because of your age. Can't wait for me to get into those years because I want to put on, a little bit more muscle. Is always good to pack on. Now, he comes just with a basic batarang, uh, basic articulation, but he does look pretty cool. Crazy grimace on his face, which reminds me of when he jumps out of the Batmobile to fight the mutant leader in the mud hole, which is pretty crazy. So that's the first one. Now the second figure, and I've actually been wanting to open this one up. It's been a while that I've had it. Is the Superman from this series? He's really the style is really in the style of the graphic novel. His hair is like all has crazy curves in it and stuff. It's pretty cool. He's bulky like Batman, probably for the same reason. He's up there in years. Actually, in the comic, he works for the government now, and he like polices the superheroes. He if they don't do what the government says, Superman's there to make them listen. So that's always why I've been more of a Batman guy like my whole life, and that's more because Batman's more like besides being darker, he's more like a loose cannon. He's not like he doesn't follow rules, and just like in the Justice League, Batman's usually he's kind of like I don't really need the Justice League. I'm just in there, to watch you guys and take care of things. But he's more of a loner, and Superman's cool, but he's pretty much just like a goody two shoes. And in this graphic novel, he shows it where he does whatever the president says, and he's just follows orders, and I don't really like that in my life. I like to make my own rules and do my own thing, and if you don't like it, oh well. But he does come with a kryptonite arrow, which is in the book. It's part of when they're attacking him at the end. Actually, the Green Arrow is in there, Oliver Queen, and he takes a shot at him with the kryptonite bow, but he intercepts it, which is a pretty cool scene. Awesome from the graphic novel. So that's his accessory, and he's pretty stylized in the Frank Miller way. So in the Frank Miller style. So I'm glad to get him up there on the shelf. He's gonna look pretty cool up there. Then we have the Son of Batman, which is where the mutant gang, after Batman defeats the mutant leader, they kind of turn and they want to be like with Batman now. So they paint bats on their face and they start doing vigilantism and stuff like that. Until Batman wrangles them up and tells them that there's the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things, and then there's his way, which is the right way. So Batman, they do join Batman in the end, and they help him control the city and stop all the chaos that's going on. It's pretty cool. I always remember this guy from the comic books with the shotgun, but I've never opened the figure, so this is the first time I'm gonna open the figure. He looks pretty cool. The mask, the bat mask paint on his face looks pretty crisp, awesome. He does come with a shotgun. And he also comes with a torch. The mutant leader comes with a torch as well, but they are not the same torch. They're different. His is like a pretty cool translucent orange, which is pretty cool. So some people army build these guys and buy a lot of the Son of Batman, but I might not do that because they look too, like, even though they look similar, when you read the graphic novel, all the mutants have their own style, so they all look different. You might be able to customize different ones, and that would look cool, but not just the same looking one. It looks too clone-ish for me, so I'll just keep one. That's pretty cool. So, but he will look good up there on the shelf. That is the figure for Son of Batman. Now we get into the two figures that came later on in the multiverse, and they actually have the parts to build the Build-A-Figure. Now up first is Wonder Woman from the Dark Knight Returns. I think she's more in like part in book 2, but she in this book she actually has a relationship with Superman, and they eventually end up having a daughter that has both like the Themysciran and Kryptonian DNA, so she's like pretty much a badass. But she does have a cool look to her. I'm pretty disappointed with this figure. I mean, it's just some stuff looked really blocky, and her arms look like just like too. I can't put a finger on it, but it just looks like there's no smoothness to the curves, and it's just really unappealing. So she's good as a figure. She's gonna look good up there on the shelf. She has her Star Spangled shorts. Her chest has that eagle plating and stuff, so she's pretty cool. But I don't know. There's something about her I don't like. I don't. She looks. I just can't put my finger on it. But she's cool out of the package. She does come with like a dagger, and of course she comes with the body and the arms of the Build-A-Figure that comes out of this series. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool to get her up there on the shelf. I mean, anything that's officially released is going into the collection. So that's Wonder Woman from Dark Knight Returns. And the final figure does not necessarily come in the Dark Knight Returns. She's just from the DC Multiverse. I forget her regular name, but it is a version of Wonder Girl, or Wonder Girl, you'd say. But she kind of looks like Britney Spears in the mold, in the sculpt of the face. But she has her basic red costume. She does roll with the Teen Titans, so I'm not sure I'm gonna leave her up there on the shelf with these figures, or just move her to her own spot somewhere in the multiverse, next to Beast Boy and Wally West Flash and those guys. So, but she's pretty cool. I mean, she has her lasso. That's pretty much all she has. I'm not too much into her in the comics, so I couldn't really tell you exactly what version she is. But for, like I say, for another figure to add to the collection, I'm pretty happy with her. But you do need her to get the head and the legs of Dr. Psycho. Now, this Build-A-Figure is pretty small. I don't know what advertising genius came up with this from Mattel to make this tiny little Build-A-Figure. To me, you could have just packed him in with somebody as like an accessory, but it's kind of cool to get this obscure character. He does come from the comics. He is a main Wonder Woman villain, so that's pretty cool. You do put him together pretty much easily, which is just basic. Stick the arms in, stick the legs in, and then snap the head on. He does have a pretty nice face sculpt, which is pretty cool. One of his eyes is like bugging out to really show his complete psychoness, which is pretty cool. So now then, once I finished doing this, I did put them all up there on the shelf. Now they're gonna be up there on the shelf in my Dark Knight section. But I'm gonna see about getting some, like building some little stands and stuff to get the back ones a little bit higher so you can see them better. But they're up there, and that's the main thing. I've opened these. I've been sitting on them for a long time. They're out of the package finally and on the shelf, which is pretty cool. So anyways, guys, here is the Build-A-Figure Dr. Psycho. I mean, I kind of feel weird if I put him with the Build-A-Figures like King Shark and Killer Croc, but I'm not so sure he's good up there on the shelf. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe he could be a snack for King Shark, but this is the Build-A-Figure they gave us. Dr. Psycho. You do have to get those two Wonder Woman figures to assemble him. So it is what it is. That's what Mattel gave us. I'm happy with it. So, anyways, guys, that's it for now. I've been working a lot of hours, so I haven't been able really to do as many vids as I want. But I do have some stuff coming up, some awesome pickups that I made in the figure section, and I am working on a haul for my DVD Blu-ray um, movie collection. So I'll do the haul this weekend probably. I've been watching a movie that I've been doing my little reviews, so look forward for all that. Also, once I hit 333 subscribers, I will be doing a contest. I have some pretty cool prizes. One horror, one action figure, and then we'll do probably like a t-shirt or something. Uh, so I'll be looking forward for that as soon as I hit. Maybe I'll wait till 334 because I like YouTube likes to like I get subscribers and then I go back down and then I go up a little bit and then I go back down. So that's why I never really jumped on the 300 subscriber. So I'm just gonna wait till 333. It sounds like a nice number to me, and be looking out for that contest I'll be doing. So, all right, guys, that's it. Everybody, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.